Hello and welcome to Rough Cut Film Review. Happy festive period, everyone. So that's Christmas, New Year, Hanukkah, gluttony, booze, or whatever you might worship. Hope you had a cracking time. This is my Lord of the Rings trilogy special, but don't panic, it's going to be as short as I can make it with my ramblings. So this special is happening because obviously I reviewed The Hobbit, but also because I picked up a copy of the extended material Blu-ray trilogy in an orange logoed supermarket for an incredible £10. So watched it all again. Now arguably there's one thing that the original trilogy didn't need, and that's more footage. The extra footage puts this round about the 12-hour mark, so this is a heck of a commitment for 3 films. The films are over 4 hours each, so if that's not for you, I completely understand. So what's the good news? Well, the directing, the acting, the score, the cinematography, they're all as good as they were, and that's really what's made this a modern classic. Also, if you do like The Lord of the Rings, which I do, there are lots of extra bits which actually make the whole thing hang together a bit better, and it does make a fair bit more sense. So say for example, the character motivations are better explained. We see some more stuff with Faramir and Boromir and all that kind of thing, to see why at times they do both act a little bit strangely, and it turns out it's the father's fault, the steward's fault. So better explained. We also get to see what happened to Saruman and Wormtongue, which I quite liked, because they just sort of disappeared, didn't they, after they were defeated. Whereas we get a little bit more here, which is quite good. Well, what's the bad news? Well, I can see why they said The Lord of the Rings was unfilmable. I mean, for many years before this was attempted, everyone said, you can't make The Lord of the Rings, it's unfilmable. So this is really, we see why. There's just too much material in there. There's just too much. It's all of a very fine quality. I mean, there are very few duff new scenes that we didn't see before. And, at the end we get the 17 different endings, which are obviously unnecessary, but, there's nothing to be criticised in terms of the extra quality here. It's just there's too much stuff here. Also, a criticism I probably make is that when I'm watching the film, the things I find the most interesting, or the trilogy, are the sort of fighty plot threads involving some of the Fellowship. What I find less interesting is Frodo, Sam, and Gollum walking to Mordor. Those bits. I thought that it was a bit much in the theatrical release, and they've ramped that up now. I can understand why they've done it. I just don't enjoy it. So there we go. So I just sort of tolerate those bits. Having said that, quite a lot of people have made jokes about Frodo and Sam being gay. I think they're a bit silly, actually, to be honest. I think it's quite immature. And I'm someone that buys into that theory with Top Gun. I watched Top Gun after people said, oh, that film is so gay, because I have happy childhood memories. Actually, they're right, that film is incredibly gay. Anyway, skipping on, because we've only got one part. So I think, a lot of people have a problem with The Lord of the Rings because they just sort of program not to like something with elvish in it, or orcs, or magic rings, and I can understand that to a certain extent. I think very few of them will be won around by watching this, because it's just so ploddy, and we're in the Shire, and I like it, but I could understand why some people don't. Also, I don't have a problem with the second part. There's a lot of people say that just sort of sags in the middle, and that's just a lot of walking. I thought Helm's Deep, to be fair, was a bit of a dress rehearsal for the battle at the end. However, the Gondor battle. However, I really enjoyed it. I thought there was a lot of good stuff in there, some interesting things. So I'm not going to do a 5-part special on this, and I'm speeding up now because I need to finish. However, it's a simple tale that has many epic moving pieces to it, and it remains very easy to follow if you're paying attention. So it's a tremendous story, really well told, just as Tolkien would want it. Again, I can't pronounce that. And I'd probably, with the exclusion of a few of the scenes with the Elvish, most of the stuff in Elvish is a bit duff and a bit impenetrable, and also anything where some of the main characters sing is a bit cringeworthy. They sing in Elvish or whatever. I'm not interested in that. So, mentioned in my Hobbit review, I think the fundamental problems with these films is the pacing, and it's all there in the original text. It's all Tolkien's fault, really. But you can attribute these problems in the films to the fact that Jackson was probably too much in love with the source material to make a significant alteration to the story. That would have made this the best film trilogy it could have been, rather than the best Lord of the Rings trilogy he could have made. And there's a very significant difference there, I think. Also, just want to mention, I think Tolkien's life choices were deeply strange. A man as intelligent and creative as he was spent pretty much his entire life creating an imaginary language. So, let's dwell on that for a second, and then I'll stop talking. So there we go. I don't want to go into everything because, I don't want to do a 5-parter, it's just some observations. Kind regards, Christopher Thomas.